Hey y'all, I wanted to talk about Dragonstar Varnir. This is the first game that I've really experienced from Idea Factory. I've tried a couple of them in the past, but haven't like really dove into it all that much. And Dragonstar Varnir is an RPG of sorts. It's a little bit different than others I've played before. Most of the dialogue is told through cutscenes that have like text and voiceover. Sometimes there isn't voiceover at all if it's like a little side conversation, but they also mix in like 3D cutscenes as well. There's a little bit of a variety through it. You're not exactly sure what you're gonna get. Even the characters, when they're in cutscenes with text, they'll be like moving up and down. They're animated like drawings of sorts to kind of keep the rhythm alive as you go. Now, as far as the combat, it's very interesting, unique. I haven't played a game maybe, or maybe played one or two that has this type of combat, but it's sort of a turn-based, as you know, you're pretty used to with these kind of games, but it's a grid system and it's a level system. So when you're fighting dragons, which are a lot of the main characters, or soldiers, there's multiple levels, sometimes 2 or 3 levels that you're fighting at one time. And then if you're fighting a big dragon, it takes up multiple levels at once. And depending on the level, it depends on like who or what gets hit. And then each character has their own attack spell. They have their own magic spell. And then if you defeat these enemies, then you get like specialized skill sets and stuff. Now for me, I wanted to try this out. I kind of cheated a little bit on it. There's an option to make the game a lot easier for you in terms of like being able to download a bunch of stuff. I was like, oh, free download. So I downloaded to see what it was. And the downloads, of course, were like extremely powerful weapons and all that. Sometimes you do that, the game won't let you access it until you're a certain level, but these weapons I was able to use right from the beginning. So I'd be like destroying fools left and right as I go along. But again, I know these games could be kind of long, so I wanted to, you know, again, I play JRPGs as easy a difficulty as I can because I play for the story, but also they're so long and I got so many other games to play, I want to kind of get moving and grooving, you know? And so that's how it felt here. And so for this being like the first one I really spent some time with, I've enjoyed it, you know? It's a game I would like to play over time though, because there could be a while before you get to any fighting. And these like text cutscenes may last like a good while, and they may have multiple of them in a row. So there's a bit of time where you feel like, oh, I haven't done that much, and I'm kind of tired of just like reading this text, and I want something that's a little more interactive. So your play sessions may vary, but just keep that in mind. The other thing to add too is that for the traveling, it's sandboxy, I would say. You're being put into areas and then there's maps, and you can kind of walk everywhere within this map, like mini map that they give you, but not every map necessarily has like levels. Like there's sort of like one map dungeons, kind of like inside or outside, and then as you go through these areas you can collect items, and then you can use these items like at a shop to create new things or sell and get new items. The one cool thing though is that you can fly around faster on it. Some of the characters you can fly around a broom. The other character, his main broom is like his sword. He like takes out sword and makes it like gigantic, so he's like flying on a sword surfboard for his magic. And that's the like cool part about it, is just flying around in these little sandbox paths. But having said that, they're so kind of small that sometimes you don't feel the need to fly around. It just almost is like a little bit too much, because it's like, am I really saving that much time? I'm just trying to get from this little space to the next one. But it's fun to kind of see him fly and twirl around. And then as you go through elements too, certain characters have certain abilities that allow you to do things in environments. Whether it's like, oh, this particular character can knock this rock over, this particular character can open this hidden door, this particular character can use their sight to see hidden objects and that sort of thing. So as you're going through the world, you can actually quick button switch between all the characters fairly quickly, which makes it a little bit of a different, unique experience instead of just playing as one. Or some other RPGs you could switch, but it gives you more reason to switch between the characters because they do specific stuff within the environment itself. And I thought that was like a really neat element to it. I've only kind of scratched the surface of this game. These games, you know, they're like a good 20 hours or so. They are JRPGs, so it's gonna take a while, but it's been good to finally dive into Idea Factory game because I've never really played too much of them before. I've seen them at conventions all the time. I know they make tons of games and they crank these things out too. And so it was interesting to kind of experience like this single entry, or at least the beginning of a series entry, and to hop in new and fresh and kind of get used to it. And I had a fun time with it. Again, it's not gonna be for everyone though. It's like I said, it's very text heavy between cutscenes and that sort of thing. So if you don't like the visual novel stuff, that might turn you off this series, and you can find another JRPG series that might be more suited to you.